Thank you for tuning in to Androne Talks Radio, gathering as one in our sovereign truth from a galactic perspective, exploring our world with new ideas, knowledge, and a promise of a better future. Galactic discussions for galactic-minded people. Androne Talks.
Okay, so welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Androne Talks Radio. We have an interesting guest here, Rocko Fowler, who is we're going to have a discussion regarding Montauk and some of his recall as an experiencer and so many other things regarding the facility and some of the many different topics of what's happening today. So here is Rocko. Hello, Rocko. How are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm doing good. So, we just started talking. We kind of went back and forth a little bit here and there, and a good friend of ours kind of connected us, and she's a wonderful person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Elizabeth is a sweetheart.
She's great. And
yeah.
And so she was telling me about you, and I had discussed how I actually traveled up to Montauk, and we began to have some discussions because I was, walking around and looking at some things. And I did this a few years ago because I just felt like there was something was bothering me about it. And then, I kind of let it go. I didn't do anything regarding the situation. I didn't go with anyone. I talked to a friend of mine. And then a few years, about a year and a half later, I'm talking to Preston Nichols, after he passed over, and, communicating with others. And so, and then as you and I started talking, a lot of this stuff came back to me, and I felt like Preston's presence was here again. So I just, maybe we could start off by having you share your story, and seeing, go from there.
Absolutely. Well, my name is, first off, Rocko Fowler, and I, was born in Largo, Florida, and at 1 year old, I was brought to, we moved to the eastern end of Long Island, New York. I was diagnosed at a very young age with what a lot of kids are diagnosed with. And it's terrible because it's a label. But this ADHD, and being put on Ritalin at 3 years old, and, eventually I ended up going to school on a military base, Gobreski National Air Force Base in West Hampton Beach. And this was through preschool and kindergarten. And, my awakening didn't happen till around 2014, but I was in and out of psychiatrists. There was a lot of rape going on that I can remember. I had a gentleman that I would go to school with. I'm actually in the process of trying to press charges as we speak. He would say to me, Rocko, can you come over after school? I got a game I want to play. And I'd be like, okay, so, I remember it for detailed, and it was like, I would get on my GT, it was a stunt bike, and I would ride my bike to this guy's house. And the
How
first
old were
time
you? How old were
I
you
was
at the time?
around 10 years old at this point. I was about 10 years old.
Jeez.
I have somewhat of a wipe at a certain point where, you know, this goes to where I question my own sanity, as Preston Nichols would say. You know, if you question your own sanity, you're sane, you know, because it's like what you were talking about. When I awoke in 2014, I awoke to having memories of extraterrestrial life, you know, inside my room while I was inside my bassinet as a child, surrounding me, the typical gray. But it was interesting because this gray would actually, you know, it would kind of like light up like a light bulb, but it was a green,
Mm-hmm.
and it would flicker, and it would flicker. And, you know, a couple, you know, back, 2014, I went through, you know, I went to a couple of other individuals that are, you know, in the, I guess, I don't know, you know, involved in this stuff. I do believe definitely. And I do believe that there's a lot of fighting going on right now. And I do believe that it's, you know, who's better than who. And nobody's better than anybody right now. We're
Right.
all in this war together.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Together. There's no I in we. So, you know, this sometimes I, you know, have had issues in the past with radio, you know, going on radio and discussing this, being made fun of. The list goes on, but back to me is I was always told, you know, I'm not going to be smart. I'm never going to be able to have kids. And here I am, I'm having children later on in life. But it took what I call, you know, going down the rabbit hole and, you know, up the yellow brick road, whatever you want to call it. It was definitely, and I've never taken that I know of any psychedelic,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
drug.
Mm-hmm.
Never done that, and
Yeah.
I won't. Somebody said, you know, you should go take ayahuasca, and I was like, no, thank you. But I started dealing with demons. I started drinking, heavily drinking. I was reaching out. I had really bad regressions done on me. Well, I had one, and it totally like tarnished my name, because what happened is it altered me. It angered me. You know, it was like,
It did awaken you. It
I
revealed
think
some
it might have
things.
been. I think sometimes, you know, the timeline of when you wake up, it differs. And I in 2014, I'm 33 now. I was a lot younger. I was in my 20s, so it started, and I didn't stop drinking. I got heavy into drugs. I started hanging out with other people, but I woke up one morning and I had a triangular mark on me. This was in back around 2014, and I looked at my computer and I, you know, pressed the button. It was one of those Alienware computers, and you just hit it and it goes on. And there popped that radar tower that I showed you the picture of,
Mm-hmm.
and that you told me he was also a Montauk boy. It's quite funny because me and him were I didn't need directions. Like, it was weird. It was just like I knew how to get there. In my, you know, like,
You had a memory of being there before.
I kept going, and I kept going, and I kept going. I even went to the top of the radar dish. When I was inside the building, I could actually hear technology being ran underneath the radar tower. You know, one time I went in there and I all of a sudden I walked past that bunker that's in Montauk Chronicles, and I don't know what happened, but it was like I turned the corner and I felt like I was somewhere else, and I got really, really nervous. I was really anxious. I literally felt like my heart was going to explode. I started seeing, you know, remembering things like hearing kids cry, hearing, you know, angry people, you know, nasty people, voices, actually seeing men in suits. It took me somewhere. And like I said before, I had a very young individual that followed me home.
Like a spirit followed you home. That was a child. Yeah.
Attached himself to me. So I started to have even more intense visions of stuff that I learned later on was not real. But this now, what I'm learning is real.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, my brain was wiped and my mind was wiped. And yeah, it seems like a lot of these other guys don't believe me. But there's a reason to why they don't believe me. There's a reason. There's a reason behind everything.
It's okay. When you're talking about difficult subjects, and I mean, I have had proof of certain things, and there's always going to be an element of people that don't want to believe, or they think it is uncomfortable because they see it right in front of them, and it scares them. They don't know how to deal with it. So if they get to a point where they're believing that some of these things have happened, then it changes everything, and then they have to do something about it. But if they say it didn't happen, then they can ignore it, they can laugh at it, and they can walk away from it. And this is our problem, is that we have a huge sex trafficking industry in the world right now. People are saying, when are we going to get rid of it? Well, we had the opportunity to start going after it in the 70s, but no one listened. They didn't listen in the 70s. They didn't listen in the 80s. Maybe it was happening in the 60s too, but I remember the 70s. There was some weird stuff going on. I mean, that's when a lot of crimes were happening against children.
87 was when I was born.
Yeah, well, I'm a little older than you, but...
Yeah, but I obviously picked up on something of you, and yeah, I was talking about the blue dress and the sword of truth.
That's how I didn't even think of it. I was gonna change too. Wow, that's like, weird, yeah.
It was like interesting because it just unfolded, you know, and it was like God was telling me something, you know, and was like, you know, I have this problem where, see, a lot of men, you know, it's hard for them to talk about this, but I'm letting them know right now as we talk on this interview, and they're going to hear this interview, you don't have to be afraid. Fear is the enemy. Fear is what, you know, is the number one killer. When you fear, you get scared to death. You know,
you disable yourself. Yeah, you disable yourself completely. You can't be afraid.
And you just totally, you know, you go in one group and then you're in another group, and then, you know, it's like, instead of, for me, what it took was just to get away from Facebook.
Well, let's get back. Let's get back to, you know, what we're discussing, because it's really serious stuff. So in around 1970s, I remember as a kid cutting through this park where there was a pool, and suddenly it became very dangerous. Kids were getting, there was rapes that started happening. And this is like a nice suburban town in Massachusetts. And it's almost like people look the other way. I remember some of the kids, it's like, I hung around with a group of kids, and there was some boys that would, they stay out all hours of the night or whatever, right? But they were young, they didn't always have money. And there was this guy that had this, a place where they can play like the arcades, arcades, maybe there's some bowling or something like that. And the guy would say, these young kids would come in, and if you didn't have money, I'd give you a little bit of money, and then come on over to my house. And then, let's watch some porn. And then they get into all this like really weird crap. And so, but no one said it. No one wanted to talk about it. No one wanted to do anything about it. And I was like, what in the world's going on here? I mean, this was happening way back. And it just kept getting worse and worse. I worked with someone once who asked me, he was talking to me about how, asking about children and saying that older men are good with children and all this other crap. And I was like, it's because we ignored it, Rocko. We not you, but a huge population ignored this stuff. And here I am in a corporate office, and this guy is hinting to me that he's interested not only in my child, but other children. I mean, what are you going to say in a situation like that? I get fired like this, right? Does it matter? I mean, he wasn't the boss, but they were going to believe him over me. I already knew it.
You mean,
this is wrong.
I'm boots on the ground. I got a picture. I don't know if I sent it to you, but there's a kid with a butcher knife, and I'm about to actually look into this kid and be like, hey man, you can't be doing that. That's fear stuff, talking about not Jesus today and putting up all these satanic symbols, and not happening on my watch.
No, so I think the type of stuff that we were talking about is that speaking out for the innocent and those that can't speak out for themselves, they don't have a chance. And
what I think it is I've noticed, because of myself and my self-healing that I've done on myself, is like learning, sometimes like when I get angry, like, at my fiance, and I might wake up angry because of something that I dreamt about.
Yeah.
Or,
the triggers.
whatever. So immediately it's the back door and a cigarette for me in the morning. I mean, I have really
calm. You have to keep calm. You have to keep your head together.
I feel that I'm a target. Definitely. I don't know if you pick up on that.
If they get the surveillance that they want, all of us are going to be targets. This is what I'm saying: is we wait and wait and wait for someone else to do it, and nobody wants to speak out. And they told us they were going to be censoring, that we couldn't even give remedies or anything regarding COVID. And what they do, they started censoring everything. And so then how do you get information out to people? So you keep on allowing the doors to get closed. And, meanwhile, they're putting up satellites and they're hooking people in. They're having people.
That's the biggest, is I can tell when stuff's going on around me. Like my ears will ring, like if there's like a high pitch frequency. And I recommend a bug sweep, because a lot of us, especially ones that have information that's very important, internal information. I'm not even talking about, written down information, just that's in your mind. And, you know, that if you just take a look at this system, and by the way, there's a man by the name of Matt White who's going for 2024 president, and he no longer wants people to be sheep. That's his goal. And you know what? I'm going to be campaigning with him for the state that I'm in Missouri, for the sex trafficking, everything that's going on here. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to do what I got to do, because if I don't, I'm wasting my life. If I wallow in my own, you know, I'm going to eventually become a slug and not want to do anything.
The ones that probably can really make a major impact are the ones that are wounded emotionally from some of the early stuff, whether it's my labs and or whether, you know, you were a Montauk boy or whatever the situation was. And these are the people that probably have huge amount of persuasion, but they don't know how to channel, or they're still working through the injury. And I understand that. I mean, I get that part. It's hard. You know, I went through my labs as well. So, I mean, we all understand. And there's something here that has to be figured out regarding Montauk, because Preston keeps on contacting me. And I know he wants to resolve it.
I see him on playing a piano right now. I'm envisioning him playing a piano.
That actually means something to me. I know what that means.
I don't know what it means, but it's very interesting.
You're going to know what it means because I told you I did a session with Jimmy. I don't know if you know who Jimmy is. Sometimes I have him on my show. And he's living out in Detroit. And he had an encounter with one of those cyborgs out there. This crazy, you know, Detroit becomes human scenario. Well, anyhow, I started talking to him, and he has a relative that's not feeling well now. And that's when I started looking into this reality with, it was Mobius or something. And there was this scenario where there was a piano player, and I don't know why, but I got hooked into helping the situation. And I would drop off piano music. And
you look like a piano teacher.
I can't play the piano.
Hey, look, maybe in Montauk, I don't know, but your energy is definitely, I'm picking up Montauk.
Yeah, at that same time, that's where I saw you as a politician in an earlier time. I don't know if it was like 1800s, maybe around 1800s, and you were ready to blow the whistle on some banks for doing something, and they took you out. Yeah.
Yeah. I've also had Anya Briggs was on a show called Basis a while back. She does psychic readings and whatnot. And I contacted her. I don't know why, because I heard about 2.0. I was, checking into 2.0. And at the time we were going to meet up, I was going to go to Manhattan and actually meet with her and have coffee with her and talk with her, because she said that I was supposedly one of the boys that died in the chair and came back through in the cleanup of 2.0.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely seems pretty accurate to me. Yeah.
Because sometimes it was like when I go there, in this reality, I would, it would feel different. I'd feel dead sometimes.
You were really, did she say you were really young? Because I see you're really young, like under the age of 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That's just crazy. I saw someone lifting you up.
I remember offices being taken to offices. I remember with the guidance counselors. and then there'd be one with the military. When I left the base, and I went right across the street to BOCES Technical Center, and I got the label special education. Now, people sit there and say, well, if you were in special ed, you couldn't be this, you couldn't be that. Well, my buddy is in the CIA who was in special education and was getting straight A's. Why were they doing that? Because they wanted to keep him away from friends. Like when I said I didn't have friends, there was a reason why I didn't have friends.
Yeah, they create scenarios of isolation.
I don't do it anymore.
No, but you can break through it. You can break through it, but yeah, they do create situations of isolation deliberately. They keep an eye on you. And
I'll tell you, it was a very dark, okay, I went into one of the buildings that are behind the fence, and my buddy looks at me and says to me, okay, I'm there.
oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
There we go. So my buddy looks at me. It's just people in these groups, annoying groups. It's like, they got to post everything, and, I am, I believe in Donald Trump, but it's like, I'm scared because I think people are like obsessing over a man, that says that this is going to happen, but it's not happening. What's happening is things are getting worse.
In some ways, but here's the thing, Rocko. Our problem is that we can't expect one person to do everything. We're all supposed to do something.
Granted, but if you reach out and try to help him, he's gonna,
You not try to help him. We're supposed to do our part, and we're supposed to be providing information. And there are people that have information that have not provided it, and so it makes it harder.
They're not providing it, are they?
No, there's a lot of people that instead of competing with one another should be joining together to try to get the information out.
Yeah, like mine and the other guy.
Yeah, so we all have our part, not everyone's supposed to do the exact same thing, but we're all supposed to do our part. And the whole reason why we get away from monarchies is because we want to be independent. The reason why we get away from big government is because we want to have our own way of doing things. But when it comes down to it, everybody drops the ball. And so it can't be like that. You have to, take up the responsibility of life. And
you're right.
And if you're going to, like you said, if you're going to do something, run for office, do something that makes a difference. And that's why I also, admire that that's the stance that you want to take. Now, as far as the special ed stuff, I know that they do surgeries. Peter told me they did some surgeries on me. They try to dumb people down. Definitely, I had a higher IQ prior to my labs getting to me. So, these are the type of things that are done deliberately to get you to be quiet.
Yeah.
You're not involved,
Well, I was the type where I was just, I think, angry at them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care what they say,
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to tell me. I have my own free will. You're not going to tell me what to do, demon. Stay away.
Yeah.
I take a tablespoon a day, every day, of elderberry, every day. Stuff's expensive. So it's like,
keeps the vampires away.
I know one guy who drinks a bottle of it, and I'm like, dude, man, that's like, I'd get sick to my stomach.
I had people drinking Saint Germain because Saint Germain told me that's what's going to help them, because he went through that situation where he was affected he got into vampirism. He was drinking blood in Louisiana during one of his lifetimes. I mean, he's kind of an immortal, you know, he's gone from one experience to the other. And I think the last time he was around was in 1970 or so, you know, or that's that guy, some guy over in Europe saying that he's Saint Germain, which could be, you know, they find these people dead, but I don't think he dies. I think he's an immortal. You know, he figured out, or time traveler, whatever. But yeah, it's kind of a weird story. But anyhow, he told us the way to get away, protect yourself from the vampire stuff is with the elderberry or elderflower.
Yep.
That's the way to do it.
So, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something interesting.
You were saying you take the elderberry every day, and then
Yes. It does help. It does help keep away negative stuff.
yeah.
I stay in prayer. I stay in prayer all day, you know, because I don't want the enemy to attack the mind, and that's what the enemy's goal is to do. I think people talked about the chipping and all that stuff. I'm more afraid of what they see. People don't understand that the technology goes even further to where they can, you know, microwave your mind and, you know, mind control you right through a television screen. You know, it only takes about 350 megahertz, you know, of like electricity to actually electric, you know, through a television. And then you got the ultraviolet light, and then you got all that other stuff. It can damage your brain. It can
yeah, we were
fry
talking
your
about directed energy weapons and things like that on my last show with Peter the Insider. And Peter
Okay,
also
so
said,
that's funny you say that. Wow, you brought up something you were talking about, and I didn't even really listen to the show yet. I haven't had a chance. I apologize.
no,
I've
that's
been
okay,
doing
because we
live
talked
on
about the
social
Montauk
media.
monster and some other things too that I thought you might find interesting.
Okay, so the directed energy weapons. Okay, so back in 2014, me and a bunch of friends were hanging out, and I went in to go get another beer and use the bathroom. So when I went in to go get the beer and use, you know, to use the bathroom, something, I don't know what it was, something, I felt it hit my head, but it felt like it went whoop, whoop, and I fell to my knees. And my friend's like, "Are you all right?" And the whole world just started spinning like this. And I had to crawl up in a ball. And finally it stopped. So I don't know if sometimes they do that to me, because I do get that sometimes where I'll be walking and out of the blue I'll just get this boom.
Yeah. Yeah, I traveled to Europe one time and I fell asleep. Something hit me. I lifted off that bed.
That's happened.
Wow.
Yep.
I just, you know, I don't know how many inches.
I have friends that have died. Seeing events happen to me. I actually have two friends. One friend where we woke up in his truck. He's no longer here. Several times, and I stopped at the first 7-Eleven in Montauk, and sure enough, I walk in, there's two SUVs, and I said, "Dude, park in between both of these. I want to get pictures of both." I went to get pictures. The guy's looking at me. He says, "Hey, stop."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "What's up?" So they come out, right? And I'm thinking, "Oh no, here I go. I'm going to Montauk. I'm going to Montauk." My buddy's like, calm down. They can't do that no more. This is public. They'll fine you." So when they found me, you know, when they came out, it was like, it was scary because of the way they were dressed, and you know, they looked like they weren't taking any, you know, games, you know, playing games. And I mean, they skirted off, like skidded off, doing about, I'd say they hit that gas pedal and skidded up right towards Camp Hero.
Right. I talked to Peter.
Back there, late night. I've been back there between the hours of, 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. I've stayed back there. And yeah, I've heard the roar. Yeah, I've heard the roar.
The monster sound.
It was just, it's very demonic. It's not good. Very angry.
Yeah.
I won't go near. When me and my friend were back there that night, he heard it first, and I said, "No, man," because I was trying to run an EMF, seeing if something would pop up, but nothing was popping up because I would ghost hunt the place as well. I would do that as well, but then I started to have these, intense flashbacks or memories, whatever you want to call it, dreams. Like you said, interesting. They were picking me up. How were they picking me up?
Under your arms. They're lifting you up because you were small, and they're putting you on top of something that looked white. I couldn't see exactly what that was. Yeah. So, but when you saw yourself getting picked up, how did you see yourself getting picked up?
I remember white vans.
Oh, you mean picked up that way? I saw you being lifted. Someone lifted you up like a little kid.
What were they wearing? Do you know?
Guy had white hair. Might have been like gray looking pants.
Interesting.
And it had like a jacket on, like a I don't know how to describe it. Maybe like a winter jacket. It was cold. Simple, just a zip up, dark color.
Why was he?
It was on top of something that looked like ceramic. Something is white. I don't know. And everything, it looked pretty dirty, dark around it. I'm sorry. Is it triggering something?
I'd see like a dark tunnel.
Yeah.
Starting to. It actually feels like they're touching me. A dark tunnel. It's over in the old Indian burial grounds in Montauk. I'm seeing satanic stuff go on as well. Inversions of pentagrams.
I think those are kids doing some of that stuff, like teenagers or something. They're coming back.
Yeah, they're Montauk boys.
Yeah, they're angry. They're really angry. They know that whatever was there was evil, so they were just sort of reflecting it. You have to be around 3 years old when I just saw it, and it's young when they pull people in. There's a woman wearing a long red jacket. I don't know who she is. Short brown hair. Well, Peter the Insider said that it's a cover for something else. He says it's not exactly what people think it is. He says, but he didn't get into exactly what it was. Obviously, something that, I don't know, if you can't talk about or didn't want to get into it, or we were talking about other things. But he did tell me that the Montauk monster was a hybrid dog-cat. So I didn't even, I mean, to me it looked almost fake. But he said it was real, but it was a dog-cat hybrid. And then he didn't want to talk about it anymore.
It's interdimensional. It's interdimensional. He's interdimensional.
That creature, that monster?
Remember the soul transfer? When they could do soul, like they could actually do soul transfers?
Mm-hmm.
Like satanic rituals?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
I see in these papers, they're like in a folder. They drop down into the ground. It was kind of like had a little bit muddy, or there was a little puddle there or something that got wet. It was like one of those dark green folders, and some writing with blue ink.
Wow. Interesting.
And now I'm seeing a boy with shorts on. His knees are all scratched up really bad, like the right knee in particular. Looks like the skin's really raw, kind of exposed. It's really, he looks like he went to a private school. He's got socks, little blue socks with a stripe around it, and some kind of shoes. They're not sneakers. And then the shorts are above the knee. Maybe he had a jacket and a hat or something. Oh, geez. I just thought of JFK Jr. That's kind of like that outfit that he had when he was when his dad died. That's weird. It's the same kind of thing. It was like that private school kind of look, for kids. But the kid had, I can't see the kid. I only can see like as if I'm looking down, and I can see his knees all bloody.
Yeah. Wow.
I never thought about the possibility of JFK Jr. being a part of those. I mean, I guess that's possible.
Being a part of that?
Yeah.
About me, or?
But about JFK Jr. being part of Montauk. It just crossed my mind. That was weird. Anyhow, I think I'm going into a weird space right now, starting to see things, and so I don't know. I want to keep with the interview.
Yeah. Snap.
I know. I started going there, and you started going there, and then more stuff started coming in.
I was traveling.
Yeah.
Through a wormhole. And as I was traveling through this wormhole, and kept seeing Preston singing and playing the piano. It was very interesting.
So he might have been the piano player that I would hand off the music to. Damn.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Mobius they manipulated so many of us. I think that's why we're going through all this stuff to try to fix it. We had no idea. No idea what was going on.
None. But yeah, wow.
Seeing this car, it's this beautiful white car. It's magnificent. Maybe it's a Bentley or something. And some guy just opened the door, and I think he's involved in this. Like they had a chauffeur or someone open the door for him.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out. Now you got me thinking, oh no. Jessica's way of thinking, I love it. It's like you'll say something, you'll text me, and I'll answer, and I'll look at it, and then I'll start to think about it. And then when I start to think about it, it's like I take myself back to it.
Yep.
It's kind of like what happened with me and one other individual, but more safe. That place was like I was falling into almost killing myself, Walters.
Yeah, I mean, I have been doing this stuff since I was very young, so I understand how it works and certain things that you shouldn't do. I don't dabble in any kind of like esoteric stuff. It's just this is it, and this is what I've been doing since I was a little girl.
Right here.
In Christianity.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe in God. Yes. Yeah. God has helped me through a lot. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah, well, you probably wouldn't be here.
No, I wanted to kill myself. Oh, shoot. I used to, all the time, it would be like that with me. I used to, what the woman who raised me would say is, I would tell her I want to kill myself. And then one time I remember her saying, just do it.
She didn't mean it though.
I've forgiven her, but when it's time to leave the nest, which, we all have family secrets that aren't spoken of. I mean, I was questioned by the FBI at a young age when Flight 800 got shot off the map.
You know what happened, Rocko? I'm sorry.
That was my father's name.
Well, I'm Rocko, so I mean it's.
They got a repaint in there.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. They masterminded, and then they had us messed up and holding the bag. Because astrally, we looked like we were involved. They had us doing tasks for them.
No, yeah, I remember so much.
Tell us some of the things that you remember.
I remember, being in, rituals. There was when my whole being got taken over. I want to say around the time that Max Spears died. And it was weird because me and Max's mom spoke, and she said to me, "We need you. We can't lose you." And I always say, Max Spears would say, always stay in your heart and you will be bulletproof. I always say that, R.I.P. Max Spears, and I mean, he knew a lot. A beautiful, beautiful soul, tortured.
Yeah, that's what they do. They mess us up, and then they have us take the blame for certain things. Astrally, it looks like we were doing tasks for them, or karmically, we were associated with it. I've heard a lot of nice things about Max's mom.
Max's
Like
mom's a sweetheart.
Yeah, it sounds like she's a good person, and it was nice that she said that to you. So you understand what I'm saying is that we were used to.
Yeah, we were abused emotionally, psychologically.
Right, because then they wanted to use us because it was the MK programming, and they wanted to be able to use us whenever they could. We became an initiate. Sorry, I couldn't get the word out.
It's okay.
We couldn't, they had us as, handled and doing certain things. And I remember when I was younger, there were times when I'm like, what's going on here? And, and you're being approached by all different types of people. I even had the Arab Emirate contact me or approach me one night when I was out. It's really weird stuff. Yeah, very weird.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Interesting.
And, yeah.
Wow.
And people from other countries approaching me, having conversations. When I was young, some guy saying he was Jesus Christ. Crazy stuff. You know what I mean? And I was talking to another friend about this other guy that I met, and they thought it was the Mossad that approached me. It's been weird. It's been really weird, aside from some of the very paranormal stuff that I've had to deal with, but then also the individuals that come from different backgrounds.
Super soldiers.
Should not be around me, especially when I was, 17, 18 years old or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
checking the back of my ears to see if I feel anything.
You get marks on you. You get.
Yeah, I have pictures I could show you. Yeah, I have pictures. Plenty of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, helicopters. I have a green glowing object in my front yard that's illuminating green. I don't know.
Was it like that gray that you saw when you were younger? Yeah.
Yep. And I don't know. I don't know if I was being set up or what, but my quote unquote investigator moved into my home, and I think he took a picture of an ET that he claims was his ET because I could tell he blacked the porch out. I looked at it, and it was an ugly motherfucker. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It was scary. All I know is he came in and acted scared and said, and I mean, he played it off well enough where he had me mind messed. This is why I broke past that, and I'm about sovereignty. That's what I'm about. I'm about unity. Okay, we need to unite, and the crap needs to be taken out.
Well, it has to be done.
If you're a soldier, you need to stand up and you need to do what's right. If you see a kid that's being molested or handled wrong in public, you take action. And you make sure that that kid gets the help he needs, not what the system wants, which I consider the broken system in many, many, many different ways. And if I become, part of this campaign, which for Missouri city and state, I'm going to make it where taxes are even and, like it or lump it.
A flat rate tax system, like a
Yep.
certain percentage.
That's it. Yep. Because I believe in that they're think about it. All right. I always say it in my lives. If you think about how much these corporate business owners are making per year, not to mention how much Pelosi is making and lining her pockets, and then complaining and, if one thing ain't her way, it's a puppet show. And so many people are following a huge puppet show.
Well, Pelosi has not been the least bit interested in helping the people at all.
No, but she wants to help the illegal, but she wants to help,
She doesn't even want to help them. It's just a something that she's still in her mind, competing with Donald Trump, which doesn't make any sense at the expense of the people. I mean, she's playing a game, and yet the people are struggling in California. It's been a fiasco.
Oh, I know.
It's been
Yeah,
joke.
California. I have a friend.
Poor California. Those people. It's the most beautiful state. They're destroying it. And she's sitting there playing her games, eating her ice cream. I mean, come on, really? And, at some point, people, whether you are agreeing or you like Trump or not, this is just extremely horrible behavior. This is not about you and whether you like the president or not. Do the right thing for the people. All those people suffering? You kidding me?
That's what I would do. That's what I would do. That's one thing I would do. And everybody would get along. And it would fall back into you can come in the White House, It would fall back into that. That's the type of route this man is trying to go, Because let's face it.
It's a safer environment instead of this kind of ridiculous behavior.
Well, yeah. I mean, what we want to do is we want to stop the bull crap that's going on, And first of all, that's knocking governors are going, and protesting in a way that, I want them there. I want their opinion. I want to know, you know what I mean? I want to know what's going on. And I want the truth. I don't want the lie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of person I am. I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yep. And that's the way it should be.
Sometimes, I might have my little mishaps and get angry with this one or that one, but it's all human, We need to get like this, I feel like electronics is taking over everything, man. I feel.
That's because they think that, they can plug in, control us while they go off and play. I mean, there was a video that I saw that Elon Musk wanted to set up this system, get the satellites hooked in, get everyone else, uplinked, and then he's going to go off to Mars. And supposedly, his trip to Mars is going to be equivalent to 100 years our time. So by the time he comes back, we would all be dead. But meanwhile, the Earth would just be functioning off of control system. What are we, his video game?
I'm going to go, Elon Musk, what a scumbag.
How in the world he was supported and funded by many I think the government through I don't know, I think he applied for.
That's what I'm trying to say is I'm gonna put it in the nicest words that I can put it. They all have laid in bed together at one time in a sense, and that's including, our president, and he's come out and said it. And I think what's going on is they're trying to take him out because of his past. Because, we all have our, journeys in life. I'm not no good, I've gotten in trouble. I've been to prison. I've, went down the wrong path. We all go down a path sometimes of destruction, but we can pull ourselves out of that path of destruction.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people, nobody's perfect. However, whatever people are doing right now, I think is saying a lot about whether they actually have a soul left, or some of these others, they're definitely soulless, and they don't really care. It's all about how they benefit, and they're so accustomed to doing whatever they want, and they don't realize. It's almost like they're oblivious to the fact that the facade is off, and we're watching them say all their crazy, ridiculous things. It's like the filter's gone, and so they're not even cognizant that these things are getting revealed now. And so it's kind of shocking. We're all like, I can't believe they said that. Well, they've probably been talking like this all along, but here it is. We're like,
Yep,
someone like Pelosi, Musk, just, hey, if you're just going to have to become like a robot if you want to survive in the future. That's his statements. I don't have his exact quote, but it's pretty close. Same thing with Bill Gates. Hey, kill Bill. He doesn't care. He just wants everyone off the planet because he feels that he needs more real estate. He just wants everyone out of the way. He's antisocial. He's not human. I mean, how far should we go? I mean, I don't understand. How hard is this to figure out? And why would you want to take any type of vaccine or poison from this guy when he's already had a reputation of doing all these things? And here we are, waiting for someone with a soul or a conscience to show up. And you know who that is? That's us. So we are going to have to take on the responsibility of proclaiming what we feel is the truth.
Well, Preston told you that yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's weird he popped up.
I'm telling you, that's why there's something about Montauk that I have some kind of weird connection with him, and a connection with Duncan Campbell, who I did actually meet, not in person.
Duncan Cameron?
Cameron, sorry.
He doesn't really talk that much either.
I talked to him for hours. He's an amazing person.
He passed.
Yeah.
So did Preston.
He had a very, very powerful spirituality about him towards the end. Very powerful. And
what do you pick up off of me right now?
Like what? It just comes to me. I don't know. It used to put me on the spot. I get embarrassed.
I just, like to carry the interview. It's a good interview. Just getting out and talking about the stuff, this helps people. Just
talking for real. Like, I'm not into trying to impress people that I'm, a good interviewer, that I got a great show or anything like that. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff I talk about is the same stuff that I would talk about with the person if I was face to face, or the type of stuff that goes on in the comments. It's either it's going to be real or we're not going to do it. That's the way I feel. So
you're gonna do it.
I'm not gonna impress anyone. I don't have the big screen I mean, I think it looks cool when people, maybe someday, but right now half the time I'm not even on the screen. I mean, they don't have to look at me, they just need to hear what's being said, and that's it. Right?
That's
some people don't want to look at me, that's fine.
You look interesting, and you definitely look like I know you from somewhere. I know you from somewhere. That's for sure.
And I think that's what's happening. I think the people on these projects, they do recognize me. Some of them, they don't. I think that there was also a program in there for people to not trust me or dislike me. And I've actually had people tell me that. They say, you know, you're different than what I thought you would be. I thought you would be, I don't know, kind of have a different type of attitude. And I said, no, this is it. So whatever, there's some kind of part of the programs was to get people to not talk to each other, people that needed to talk to each other. The people that are in the programs together, some of them are fighting or not talking with each other, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's done on purpose. It's done. So that's why when you guys kind of get past that and begin to talk and just act real and not have a grudge against each other, then we're going to discover some really amazing things. And we're going to do what we need to do to shut down whatever is still running etherically.
So with these ones that I'm having issues with, I'm going to have to work it out with.
Takes two. It has to be something people have to be open-minded. You know, you can't force anything. If they choose to not wake up and see that they're supposed to be working with others, then they're going to miss out. But the ones that, you know, they'll figure out a way for you to get the information that you need. The people that really care and want to make it happen. Close those doors so it doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, I don't have too much anymore. You know, it's
not for you, but there's other generations.
Oh, yes. Oh, many generations.
Well, Peter the Insider just told us there's another group that they call it's a perfect unification program, the cult of the white rabbit, and they're still pulling kids. And I have some clients that are being affected by this. It's upsetting. So it has to stop. They're targeting children.
Well, we need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do this. I got people radio hosts that I go on their shows too. And, I'm putting it out there, I want to help, the economy, the world. I want to, help everybody unite with one another,
Mm-hmm.
and take the trash and throw it out. That's it. Unity.
It. Yeah.
Victory. Victory. Call upon victory. That's it. Give up, because you're not going to win. That's my mentality.
They're not going to win.
They are not going to win. I'm not going to allow. No, they will not win. That is one thing I can tell you right now. Like I said, as long as you stay in your heart, like Max said, and I learned that, as long as you stay in your heart, you are spiritually bulletproof. And it's a proven fact, because Max would say it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Those were his words. And I repeat those words to a lot of people, and they look at me and they're like, wow, I never thought about that. It's like, and then some people will know it because they knew who Max was. The funny thing is, they would try to keep you away from all people. Be it another guy, I guess he worked in the White House or something, that they all knew. He was like MIB.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, believe me, I've seen them too. They'll show up. They'll show up with what's going on.
No, he was cool. He was like, he broke his program.
Yeah. No, I've seen. Yeah, but I've seen the MIB. I saw a husband and wife one time.
I've gotten that.
This is the craziest thing. I was at a baseball game or something, and I was sitting there. I look over to my right, and there's this couple, and they were looking straight ahead, right? Both of them in tandem, like perfect. Turned and looked at me like this with his sunglasses on. There's no way you could do that, time that perfectly. It was like so robotic. It was unbelievable. And so I contacted Peter. I'm at the park, right? I contacted Peter and I said, I think the MIB's here. And he goes, what did you do wrong? I said, I didn't do anything. He goes, they're watching you. And that's what they do is someone like tagged me. They had me there and then they tagged me and then now they're watching me, but I wasn't the one doing anything. And that's the stuff that I'm talking about. People wonder why they're targeted and they haven't done anything. They haven't said anything to anybody. It's because someone did a swap or they did something and then they have these people carrying, or astrally, you might be doing stuff, not even realizing it. They get you in the dream space, pull you into these missions for them. And then before you know it, you're setting yourself up karmically. And then the men in black show up. Yeah. Or you get enemies that you weren't supposed to be enemies with.
Oh, I already have.
Yeah. People say to me, how in the world are you get targeted? You haven't done anything. It's I was talking about new age crap on the not crap, but new age stuff. You know what I mean? It's like simple stuff. And then I was getting targeted. They didn't believe it. But that's what it is. It's a swap. Well, any other thoughts that you have? Because I think this was an interesting conversation, and I'm sure people are going to appreciate it.
Just that my goal is to definitely get somewhere in the state of Missouri where I'm living at right now, and put a stop to things, put a stop to the drug trafficking, put a stop to the sex trafficking, put a stop to what needs to be done. It needs to be done. But like I say to everybody, I can't make you guys do it. You gotta want to do it. You gotta want to do it.
Everyone has to pick up what they're supposed to do here.
You gotta have that spirit of warrior to take on this battle, because this battle is deep. It's very, very deep. And always remember, like I say, if you get on my team, just know that I'm for real. I want to be able. I'd love to have the permission to kick in doors and arrest people that are molesting young women and young men and trafficking them and selling them. I would love that. But you also got to remember, you got to protect yourself. That's the whole thing. This is a dangerous operation. This is a very dangerous operation. This isn't just something you can just get up one day and say, oh, I'm going to go do this. No, you got a plan. You got to have a plan of action. And I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not going to stop running my mouth. I'm going to talk, and I'm going to put the truth out there. And I'm going to let you know, yes, there's electrical wiring still running to Montauk. Why do you need electrical wire running to Montauk when the place is a defunct Air Force base? Why did LIPA come after a month after somebody deliberately took a rock, cracked the thermometer, and they came back and replaced it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They replaced it, brand new. Like some 1950 something. They got pictures of it. I mean, this stuff is really still going on. There's still stuff going on. There's secret occults out there that are, deep in the woods. I mean, just watch the movie The Family on, Netflix. This will explain a lot to you. This will explain a lot to you. Occultic type behaviors. That stuff needs to end.
Yeah. A lot of things need to end.
I said people need to stop trying to brainwash people.
Yeah.
And you need to know these cues, grooming, whatever it is. Run for your life.
Yeah.
Scream, blue bloody murder, scream. And I'm sure, as long as you're right with, source, God, whatever you want to call it, I'm sure that somebody will be there to protect you or rescue you.
Yeah.
You gotta only have to have the size of a mustard seed, faith, the size of a mustard seed to move mountains. Faith without works is dead. I mean, it's the truth. I can have all the faith, but if I don't go put out the work, try to help, get other people to try to help, because this ain't a me process, this is a we process. So hopefully whoever listens to this understands, and you can contact me on Rocko Fowler Facebook. If you hear this and you ever show yourself and you're interested in interviewing me, I'm open. The floodgates have opened, and you know what? We need to fight for our rights and take America back. That's what we need to do. And we're not going to do that sitting at home twiddling our thumbs.
And realizing too that this is a world issue, and some of the people, as much as
it's a people problem,
it's a people problem, yeah, because it's all interconnected. This
right, that's the whole thing. It's calming some people down.
Yeah.
We got to calm some of those people down, which is hard, because some of them are just like full blown ready to go. I mean, there's a way to show your anger and frustration, but when you bring guns and stuff and get all this stuff involved, you're making the problem worse for yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, you know what, I'm just going to sit this out and see how this goes. Because in my own opinion, there's a lot of political stuff going on right now. Okay. I feel that, there is. And it's not all Trump. It's everybody. It's the whole House. It's the Congress. It's the Senate. It's the lobbyists. It's all of them. The lobbyists run the Senate and run the congressmen. A lot of people don't know this, but that's the truth. There's so many hidden secrets in there. I mean, the oxygen level has to be done at a certain time. You have to go through certain, like, metal detectors testing. They need to know all your information. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah.
You never know what's going on behind the White House. The White House is very, very secretive.
Yep.
Sometimes the enemy gets a hold of the plan, but then the plan ends up, a partial war, which what I believe we're dealing with right now is the craziness and, people acting, out of fear.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't help when you reach on and go on Facebook and see posts to this and posts to that. It doesn't help. Like fear-mongering posts. If I don't have an indefinite answer, I'm not going to tell you, oh, this one got locked up, that one got locked up, this one got locked up. I'm not going to tell you that unless I have that full information from the DOJ, from everything. I want to know the court dates, the times, everything I want to know. I want to know all of that. That's something we need to know.
Yeah, a lot of this is kind of blind trust. A lot of people putting out information, and for me, it's too vague. It's hopeful, I want to believe it, but I want to see it.
You got some super soldiers that are like creating these programs and putting things out there. I mean, for crying out loud, QAnon is all over everywhere.
Mhm.
You know, like, and to me, it kind of seems a little bit occultic because it's like, where one go, we all go. I'm like, I'm kind of like, no, I'm very independent, but also like to help people, but also like my own independence because of what I went through when I was younger.
Yeah, yeah, and I
Well,
think, don't you think that we should look at more than one source? It shouldn't just be 100% this one source. Let's cross
oh
check.
no, it's the
Yeah.
Anons, it's this one, it's that one. It's like blind shot. You know what I mean? Some of them are just blind shotting and saying that this is going to happen, but it never happened.
Yeah, and then why is it that people are not paying attention to that? It's almost like a
Because they keep believing because they're getting trust the plan, trust the plan, trust the plan. That's the whole psyops of Q. Trust the plan, get it?
I see that. I want to see the plan, see it happen.
The Punisher sign, all this stuff. It's like it's getting a little blown out of proportion, people. We got to fight for our civil liberties. We got to fight for our rights. We don't need to be sitting there and, making pictures of, politicians with guns and, make it all like, no, I don't live in a virtual reality. That's not me. I'm not going to do that. I don't live in a virtual reality. What's in front of me, what I can see, what I can touch, what I can taste, what I can hear, I'm going to be coherent, you know what I mean? Enough to handle that and nip it in the butt.
Yep.
You can't let people walk on top of you. I've learned that back in 2014 because there's a lot of super soldier, I'm better than you and you're nothing and you never were a part. And that's not true. They just don't remember because they've been psyops. There's a
But they're
lot of
also a program it's a divide and conquer program to keep everyone from talking that need to be talking to each other. It's a program.
Yeah, I told people right now, MK Ultra's happening in front of your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
They said, MK Ultra's been over. I said, oh, yeah?
No.
I said, you better check your records. I said, one Q member said that to me. And one Q member said to me, tell me more about the dumbs. Q don't know about the dumbs. I'm like, are you kidding me? You talk about military this and military that, but you can't tell me about, you don't understand dumbs? What dumbs are? I mean, so sometimes things become sellout. And, once a certain amount of things don't happen, which I'm the type of person, I don't play Nostradamus. You know what I mean? If I'm told something through source, I'm told something. Do I sometimes keep that, whatever I'm told, to myself? Yes. Depends on what source wants me to do with it.
But if people are insiders and they say that they know something's going to happen, I've known Peter for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
His stuff has come true. His stuff has come true. The things that he said were going to happen, people were like, there's no way. And there it is. I mean, some of it, I don't even, I hope it doesn't come true. But his stuff has come, because otherwise I'd be like, hey, I like you, think you're a nice person, but this is not, I don't know where you're getting your information. It's not happening. I would say that. I would definitely say that because I personally, I don't care. I mean, people are people and nobody's going to be perfect. But if you're saying that you're an insider, you have inside information, then you should have inside information, right? And he does. But not everyone that says that they're insiders, their information is happening. So then they're representing something else. I don't know what it is, but I personally don't feel interested in supporting it. I mean, we're doing everyone's doing their best. I think some people are well-intentioned, but then maybe there's other agendas out there that we need to consider, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah.
So, and you know, whatever is fueling this whole nightmare that we're going through right now regarding the virus and the economy and all that stuff that just this past 3 months have been, you know, crazy. Yeah, whatever is fueling that, we don't want to support it, but a lot of people are supporting it. They don't realize it.
Yeah.
That's what's hard. But
All right.
so what do you think, Rocko? I think we've had our conversation. Why don't you come back? We'll have another conversation. And I'll let you get back to your family.
Definitely. And it was a blessing, and thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I hope that I, you know, maybe helped you, or I hope, you know, somebody that hears this, you know, definitely gets the message. You know, the system's more than what you realize. The system is broken down like the pyramid. But it's not like exactly that. So, but with that, you know, it was a good interview. I do have many stories. So it's like, you know, sometimes you gotta like kind of like pick and choose what you're going to talk about. And I gave a little bit of my background and what I'm doing now. And that's an activist. You know, yeah. Things work.
Well, you stay strong, Rocko, and we'll keep in touch. And thank you for encouraging everyone to also stay strong and, you know, be involved. And we'll do it again. So thank you to all of our listeners. Continue to listen. Thank you, and continue to support the station. And remember to subscribe. I'll talk to you later.
You have been listening to Androne Talks Radio. Join us on YouTube channel Jessica Errol Rocko and visit our website at www.readingsbyariel.com.